Hello there, thanks for clicking on this short video. Just a few minutes to look at a very important question, which is essentially, how can we be happy? Where's true happiness found? At Vineyard Life Church, we've been working our way through the Sermon on the Mount, the most famous sermon in history that Jesus preached himself. And it starts with some very famous words called the Beatitudes, where Jesus talks about the attitudes that he says characterize Christians, essentially. It's what should be normal Christian living, really. And it's also a kind of key to what it is to be happy. He says, blessed are the so-and-so, for they will get such and such. And that's the kind of rhythm of these famous statements. And the first one, I see a bunch of us, a few guys, we're going to look at these a verse at a time, just do some short videos. And this is the first one. I'm looking at the first Beatitude. And so the first one is, blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Now, I just want to share a few reflections. I've been looking at it a little bit, and just a few reflections that I hope you'll find encouraging and helpful. First thing just to notice is that Jesus is talking about happiness. He's talking about what it is to be happy. So it's relevant for all of us, because he's saying we all want to be happy, and he's saying, well, you know what happiness is? And he's claiming to give the answer. And when he says blessed, that's kind of what it means, happy. So it's helpful for us to see that he's basically saying, if you want true happiness, this is where it's found. So he says, blessed, happy, satisfied, lucky are these people, because they're going to get the kingdom of heaven. So the first thing we notice is blessed means happy. Second thing we notice is the lucky people are the people who get the kingdom of heaven. Now, we're all looking for happiness, aren't we? We all want to be happy. And I think we often look for it in things that don't really deliver happiness, ultimately. They might make you feel a bit better for a little while, but Jesus is talking about something that lasts forever, where total perfect joy is found. The thing that ultimately we're all thirsty for, the thing that we're all longing for, this total eternal bliss. David, in the book of Psalms, he says, at your hand are pleasures forevermore. He says, in your presence is fullness of joy. Not a little bit of joy, fullness of joy. Now, we all want that, yeah? We all want to be completely satiated with joy, totally saturated with joy, with pleasure, with eternal delights. And Jesus is saying, these people are lucky because they're going to get that, the kingdom of heaven, being with God forever, totally satisfied, totally replete with joy, overflowing with happiness. So that's a good thing. That's what we all want, yeah? To have the kingdom of heaven. And in a sense, he's saying it will come to you one day if you trust him, but he's also saying it comes to you immediately if you trust him. It begins now. It comes to its fulfillment after this life, when we are with him eternally. Okay, so that's what we're kind of expecting. Joy is going to be found with him forever, but it starts to spill into our lives now. Who does it come to? So we've seen it means that you're happy. It means that you get what that happiness consists of is the kingdom of heaven. That's what we're after. That's an amazing thing that only God can give us, that our souls are all thirsty for. And then he says that it comes to the poor in spirit. Blessed are the poor in spirit. Now, what does that mean? Well, the poor in spirit essentially means those who recognize that they need help. Those who say, I haven't got what it takes. Those who are like, well, I need God's help. If you think, I don't need God's help, the Bible says you're cursed. It's quite sobering, isn't it? If you think, no, I'm quite sufficient, thank you very much, you will never get God's help that way. We need God's help. Jesus says, if you're poor in spirit, if you feel impoverished, if you think, I really need help, he says, well, lucky you, because you're going to get it. If you turn to God, God will help you. But if you think, I don't need help, I'm fine, then you won't get God's help. And you'll spend your life and your eternity thirsty for a joy that you'll never find. Because only God can meet that thirst. Only God can meet your need. So he says, the poor in spirit, the people who recognize, I need help. He says, well, you're lucky because you're going to get it from God. Okay? Now, I just want to quickly finish by asking 3 questions. I found that there's a particular Bible study method that is very helpful. To ask, what does a verse tell me about God? What does it tell me about life? How can I apply this? So GLA, God, life, apply. Okay? And so I just want to quickly ask those 3 things, GLA, and then if you do the apply bit, then you've got D, glad. and doing it makes you glad. All right, so 3 things to ask and then something to do. First thing, what does it tell me about God? Well, this verse tells me that God is very full. He's very full of help. He's very full of kindness and generosity. He's not looking for people to come and help him. Here's my offering in that sense. He's looking for people who say, I need help. So he can meet our needs. So it tells me God is overflowing with generosity. He's that kind of a God. He loves us and he gives us all we need. And like David said, the Lord is my shepherd, so I've got everything I need. I shall not lack. I shall not want. So that's the first thing. What does it tell me about God? It tells me he is rich. He's wealthy. I'm poor in spirit. I need him who's rich in spirit to give me what he has. So what does it tell me about God? It tells me he's rich and generous. He loves to meet our needs. He loves to help us. So that's the first question. What does it tell me about God? He's overflowingly good. L, what does it tell me about life? It tells me that the most important thing that I can discover in life is that I need God and that I need to turn to God with my need. That's the most important thing about life, not to be something impressive, not to accomplish something and be great. And the most important thing for us to come to terms with is our lack of that which we need. We need God. The most important thing to discover about life is that you need to turn to God. That's what it tells me about life. And that all of us are hunting for something out there to find satisfaction, but actually it can only be found in God. So that's the most crucial thing that I learn about life from this verse.